Good morning, good morning, good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Elite Real Estate Podcast this morning on another fantastic Friday morning here, live on KGCI Radio and streaming everywhere you can get streams. I think Twitch, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, it's all over the place, Mike. So I've got a guest in-house today. I'm going to be excited to bring him in here a second. You guys can see him on screen right now, but let me bring him in. Mr. Mike Harvey, how are you, my friend?
Hey, good morning. I'm fantastic.
Good. I appreciate you coming in this morning. It's always fun to get guests in because it's like a face-to-face conversation that way. I do a lot of times we do them like via Zoom, right? Like in different ways, but this way I like a lot better.
Yeah.
It's a lot more personal.
Yeah. Better connection.
Yeah, exactly. So Mike Harvey from the Roof Resource, you can see that on screen now. So tell me about like the Roof Resource. What is it? What's it gonna, and how did you get there? Like, where did this, we cover a lot of entrepreneurial things, right?
Yeah.
So that's what I want to hit with you.
Yeah. Well, I guess we can unpack it like this. So when I was transitioning out of corporate America, I'm going to open up a consulting company. And a friend of mine came to me and said, "Hey, you want to get into roofing?" And I said, "No, thank you. There's a million ways to make $1 million, and roofing is not for me. Plus, I'm afraid of heights. So that's really not going to work." He continued to say, "Hey, let's do this. You scaled sales systems across the country. We could do something special." So I decided, I said, "Hey, okay, let's get into, I'll do it. Let's do it for a little bit and we'll see." Did it for 3 weeks. We made a lot of money in 3 weeks. And it's about the kitchen table and knowing the dynamic.
Yeah.
And over the next 9 months, we did just under $1 million. Okay. Just the two of us. But it was what I feel is the most horrific experience for a homeowner today when it comes to roofing. And I was part of that problem. And so, and I've shared this, that, I had a Jerry Maguire moment when I met with a couple in Grosse Pointe Woods, and, 2 teachers, 2 little kids, sold them a roof for 14 grand. And I could put that roof on for $6,200. They were going in their 401k and pulling out 14 grand.
Yeah.
And so I was putting all that money directly into my pocket. And so I walked off that porch that day and I just said, I can't do this anymore. The next 2 days, and this is the foundation of the Roof Resource, I was taking care of my family, my grandmother and my brother. And what do you do for family? You give them cost.
Yeah.
And so I went down the driveway and I remember the moment I looked at her roof and looked at everything that's going on. And I looked down the street and I just said, why can't I do this for complete strangers? This would be a cool thing. And so with that, I left the partnership 2 days later. I modeled out the Roof Resource. And so the Roof Resource is a 100% virtual experience for a homeowner, 50% less than retail. We handle everything over Zoom. We never go in the home. The homeowner gets choice of top of the line roofing systems like from GAF, Owens Corning, Certainteed, Atlas, you name it. And it's full systems to maximize the warranty for the homeowner. They get workmanship warranty. They get full transparency. And so when I was doing this, everyone was like, "You can't do that.
Right.
You can't do that.
You're going to ruin the industry."
You're gonna ruin the industry. How are you going to make money? And, I said, "Well, thank you for worrying about how I'm going to make money." But that first year was all about, I'm going to deliver this experience. And, and I did. And I had people like yourself, Jimmy, coming back and saying, "Hey, this was great. What are you going to do with this?"
Yeah.
I want to buy the west side of Michigan. And I'm like, I'm not doing anything with it. I'm just doing what I would do if I wanted to have a roofing company. Right. And at that point, it was, hey, let's start having some conversations in the franchising world. I, went to Chicago and I met with Mark Siebert, who is the CEO of iFranchise Group, SMB, Steve Beagleman, who actually we signed with. I met the gentleman who franchised Planet Fitness. It was a journey that I went through, and we started franchising in 23 and had some hiccups in 23, 24. We didn't franchise at all. We wanted to fix our assets. We wanted to fix market. October, we started franchising nationwide, and we've now awarded the state of Idaho. Gentlemen are coming in for the state of Montana. We've awarded basically from Lansing down to the border, pretty much all of Michigan now. Columbus, Ohio. We just awarded the Austin market of 5 franchises. A gentleman who actually worked with Travis with Uber back in 2008.
Okay.
Very cool. So that experience is people are starting to realize that, hey, this is the way that homeowners should be treated with full transparency. And we'll be able to do windows and siding in the next couple of years.
Okay. And so you came up with a solution to people's problems. And that's one of the things I always talk about with real estate agents is solve some people's problems. Don't worry about the money, right? Like stop worrying about the money.
Yeah.
Solve people's problems and the rest will take care of itself.
Exactly. And I was part of that problem, right? Because, homeowners
Sure.
have to get 3 to 5 quotes, and who do you choose? I mean, and it's just like this, and in the industry, respectfully, there's a lot of good roofing companies out there. And I never talk about the quality of their work. The quality of their work, these big companies, they do really good work. It's just how they go about doing it. And that's the big difference, is the how.
Yeah.
And then the why. And the why is, I wanted to do what was right for the homeowner. And it's been very successful, and we're looking to bring great change to the industry.
Yeah. And it sounds like you're doing it, and now you're franchising it, and now it's going to be widespread.
Correct. Yeah. I just was reading off a text that someone said, hey, they wanted the rights to Pennsylvania and New Jersey.
Yeah.
So it's conversations like that we're starting to have, because there's a lot of great people in this world who run businesses, and they see the value of what we're bringing to the marketplace. And the number one person who wins is the homeowner.
Yeah.
I mean, when you go on our website and you see people saying, hey, I saved $13,000 from my lowest quote, or there was a gentleman who was the president of a very affluent high school in this market. He was getting a friends and family price of $19,500 for his roof. And a friend of mine said, you should call Mike at the Roof Resource. And we did it for $16,000 and included 3 brand new skylights with it. So it's always about, hey, people will give you a deal, but with us, it's cost. And we have the national relationships and the partnerships. So it's cost. As I was telling you earlier, Jimmy, that, hey, if you were my brother, I couldn't do anything better for you than I do for a complete stranger.
Right.
And that's what makes us feel good.
Yeah. Yeah, most definitely. And that's one of the things that what people don't understand a lot too is when you get into, it's a skilled trade, right? Like it's a skilled trade. So when you get into this, there is that assumption of, I got to have 3 quotes, right? I got to have all these things come over. And then we know as realtors in these transactions, like we were talking a little bit about it, is, sometimes we can't close until the roof is done, because they can't get insurance. So if they can't get insurance because the roof needs to be done, then the roof needs to be done so we can get insurance, and then we can close on the deal.
Right.
And so like, what's your expected like turnaround time? Like, what do you guys do if I were to call you tomorrow and get a quote, then what would the turnaround time be?
So when today we have agents that give us a call and say, that's the problem, we need to get a roof on this house. I'll because this is a very popular show, I will let everyone know that within 24 hours, we will get you that quote. But it's a 6-page detailed materials, labor, dumpster permit. We have a flat fee for what we charge, and everything is included. And we'll have that within 24 hours, and we can deliver on that in 7 days. So it's as soon as they hit go, we've got our process.
Yeah.
And included in that is we have an attic inspection by a third-party home inspection company. So we're reviewing, the intake, ventilation, the wood, bath fans, and we're doing it right.
Yeah. Yeah. And so that report gets sent out, and then that was the other thing too. We were briefly talking about that out there, but that report was it a 6-page report you said?
So there's a couple of things. So when we have agents that call us up and say, hey, we have to put this roof on. It's not a question. It's got to be done. And then we go ahead and we fire off this proposal so that we move forward. And that's a smaller report, because the homeowner's moving forward with the roof. When it's previous, where the realtor maybe just pulls up and they're like, ooh, you can see the algae streaks. I mean, this is going to be a roof where it's end of life. We have a new report. It's on our website right now. It's called Roof Facts. And an agent can order the roof facts and present this to their homeowner, so that in the event that, hey, this roof ever becomes a problem, they will know price, they'll know market value. There's information in the roof facts that reviews from a home inspection company. There's tips on buying roofs and what to look for. We have the top 10 questions to ask a roofing company if you're not choosing us. It's truly a consumer-driven report, but there's a measurement report in there so that the homeowner will get all the measurements of their roof. And so if they're meeting with anyone and someone's saying, you got 32 squares, and they're looking at a report and they're like, no, I got 24,
Right.
So they get to see the data, and then they get to see the price. And we'll say, hey, we'll deliver it on that price, and you get your choice of all these brands. Or if you choose to go and meet with another family or friend, we're going to help get them the right price.
Got it.
So it's a really robust report, and the customer doesn't have to meet with anyone either. That's the beauty, is that there's no longer, I got to meet with someone to get a price, because with our franchise, when people call in and, the roof is, they're thinking about it, we take them through a 20 to 30 minute Zoom, once the report is ready.
Yeah.
Because we want to show them the roof report. We want to show them their proposal and all the components, and really what's the major differences between us and everyone else out there.
Yeah.
Now, and I've said this out there too. It's like understanding the roof resource is like putting all 102 roofing companies today that are retail. That's Blockbuster. We are Amazon. We are the Airbnb of roofing. And that really kind of helps people see that that's the old way of doing roofing. We're the new way.
You're the EXP.
We're the EXP of roofing. Yes. I like it.
Yeah, you're the EXP of roofing. Cloud-based, right? We can go everywhere. There's no limits to anything we can do. And that's one of the things, like you said, and I know we've got some listeners on from New Jersey and from other states. The roof resource is the place. Like, I mean, there's other, now you're expanding even farther. And you said, because I know Tanya's on, and I don't know if Tanya's on this morning, but she's from New Jersey and does a ton of work out there. So, like, again, it's because this is always a big thing for realtors, is I always say, like, find some partners that you can count on, right? A roofer, a flooring guy, a tile guy, a carpet guy, like all these people you need to have readily available, because that's your clients think you know everything. Right. Or that you have the guy, well, right?
You're the resource.
Right. So now you become the roof resource.
Right. You get the roof resource. And so, yeah, out in New Jersey, we've got Devin and Audrey, who are dynamite, franchisees, and, they're in that Newark, Montclair market, but they cover massive areas. And so they would be able to provide this level of service to any of the EXP agents.
Yeah. And so let me ask you this, like, just to boil this back to where you started. Right. And you obviously you wanted to provide a service that was affordable for everybody, right? That you weren't breaking everybody's back. Right. But where did the idea come to make this, like the roof resource, to where it is today? Like, the franchise, it couldn't have been in your mind, right? No. Like, so how did that all just come to,
through some of the mentorship and leadership that I've worked with in the past, people who are on my board now, Colleen Abdullah, she was the CEO of Wow Internet Cable and Phone for 13 years. She's on my board. And a lot of different mentorship and conversations. And that first year in 21 was, I'm still fixing things. How do I do it better? What's the better experience? And I will tell you, that first year, I had more people say, it's too good to be true. I've got to go, and I'm going to spend $7,000 more. And I was just like, oh my God, I can deliver this. But it was understanding that we were in the era of COVID and people were not meeting with anyone. And, I say this respectfully to all my, grandparents, that everyone learned Zoom.
Yeah.
Everyone had to learn Zoom. And so I'm like, I don't want to go into customers' homes. I don't want to take them through that experience. They don't need to. Because that's the old archaic process of, I need to come out to your home. I need to get on your roof. I need to measure it. I need to take pictures. I need to come in, drink your coffee, have tea with you, build trust to build influence, and go through all of that, right?
Yeah.
Like, we don't need to do that. Homeowners want to know, the biggest thing that I discovered in those 9 months, what's it going to cost?
Yeah.
What's it going to cost? And then we'll back into, so what are my choices? Who's going to handle the installation? Okay, that's going to be good. Fantastic. How soon can you get started? And then unfortunately too, there's, hey, you got to choose a color right then and there, right? But with us, we've had customers take a month because the husband and the wife were like, I want this color. I want that color. It's fun stuff.
Yeah. But wait a minute, you're telling me the husband gets a choice?
Well, she won.
Right. I was going to say, I've been married for 25 years, man. Like I don't.
She won. I remember her in Livonia. But yeah, it was tying in this virtual side, and then it's cost pricing, and then it was continuing to evolve. And then what happened was that roofing companies that do installations for the big companies here in the Detroit market, you name off 10 of the biggest companies, these guys are doing the installations for these companies.
Yeah.
And they're licensed and insured. They do high quality work. And they were like, hey, you've got a lot of volume. We would love to be in this network that you have. And I, started thinking, and so as it evolved, we have one of the largest preferred roofing network, not in the country, but we're getting there.
You're getting there.
And then we have, the top dumpster companies, and we are, with SRS, and they're our national partner. And so we're able to weigh in on their rates to be sure that they're providing us with the most deeply discounted rate because of the volume of business that we do. And also too, everything is paid up front, part of our process. So there's no exposure that anybody has. And again, the homeowner wins, and they control it. So it's, it evolved to a point where it was just like, hey, it's systemized, it's uniform. The process is the same if it's in Jersey, Ohio, Michigan, Texas.
It's a roof.
Yeah, it's a roof, and then that back end process has to go exactly. And we wireframed our own CRM for us and our franchisees.
Okay.
So we control that. And so everybody, when you go walk into a McDonald's, French fries on the left, milk machines on the right, we have the same systems that we put together so that the experience for that homeowner in Ohio is the same in New Jersey.
I love that. We did get a question in. It says, do they subcontract the labor out to a local roofing company, or do you have their own team?
Yeah, so it's a great question, and I get asked that all the time. And understanding subbing. So if you take, this is a little bit of a long answer, but maybe a couple minutes. And so the difference of subbing is if you and I are Jim, you and I run a licensed roofing company, like what I did with my partner at the time. We would go out and we would find people that could do roofing who are not licensed. Now this is key. They're not licensed, but they're insured, and they do work. What they do is they then work under your license. And so you have to be responsible for their quality of work. And that's subbing. And I will tell you, 95% of all these companies do. Homeowners just don't know who's coming. They just say, my team will be here. My team will be here. Everyone does it. And when I say everyone does it. What's different with us is that we go to find the top licensed, insured companies that are in the market. So it's not us taking the work and subbing it over. This company is signing on to do that customer's work. And there's an agreement between the customer and that roofing company. They're licensed, they're insured, they pull permits, they understand all of the legalities of putting on the roof, understanding intake, exhaust, etc. And so Ken Lewandowski, who is my VP of Strategic Partnerships, he handles that along with Adam Helfman and making certain that their top roofing companies. They fill out applications, they go through a stringent vetting process, and they want to do quality work because we become this cash flow for them. We call them our rock stars because all they have to do, Jimmy, is show up at the job, do the work, provide a 5-star experience, and get paid in full that day. Yeah. In roofing, it's like, hey, can I get paid next week? Right. Or get paid in 2 weeks or 3 weeks? And if they don't do good quality work, and there's a process that they follow, and the homeowners love it because the homeowner gets to see pictures pre, during, and after. So there's no like, hey, what did they do up on that roof? Right. They get to see the whole process happen because we have a file of all the photos that are taken.
Incredible. So it's wow. That's why it's a lot to to put together. But what you're doing, this is one of those things too that, and I've talked about this to entrepreneurs over and over again. Is like this. You did all the heavy lifting on the front. Mm-hmm. So now it's just like plug and go, right? Now it's just like you're handing out cookies. Like here, here's another roof, right? But that's where the patience and the skill up front by you and your team takes all that off the back end.
Yeah, I would say, there's a lot that through my corporate career and understanding, all the operations and how they all fit together and who does what. I always refer back to my cable days, and a lot of people know me from WOW. And the sales teams that I had.
I still have WOW, by the way.
They would, the technicians, respectfully, those guys just wanted to, string wire and climb poles and drill holes.
Yeah,
they're techs, right? You ask a technician to go into the home and talk to the homeowner about, DVRs and internet speed.
Yeah.
They don't want to do that. They're like, Mike, I'm not a salesperson. And so in the summer of 21, I attended an event from Owens Corning, and there was probably about 60 to 70 roofing guys there from different companies. Excuse me. And the question came up, hey, start asking this group, what's on your mind? How can we help you? Probably 20 arms go up. And they're like, how do we get by when the homeowner says, I want to think about it? And immediately I'm like, these guys are artisans. They're technicians. They're up on the roof.
Yeah.
They're not, you're trying to now train them to do something totally different.
Yeah.
And then what happens is that roofing companies will say, hey, you guys just do the work. We'll hire salespeople, right? Well, then who has to pay the commissions? And and I encourage people to go out on YouTube and look up highest commission salespeople in roofing, and they're making $200,000 and $300,000. Where do you think that money comes from? Homeowners.
Right.
Homeowners. Because now they have to add another level of cost per square, and you get into the $1,200 and $1,400, and customers will call me up and say, hey, they met with these companies and they're priced at $32,000, and I'm like, okay, we're $16,500 for the same exact roof.
Incredible. Because again, this is the model, right? Like Correct. This is what we talk about, like with the cloud-based models. We take out the cloud-based model takes out all the in between, the in between cost, right? The investor here and the salesman here and this there and all the overhead all gets taken out in the cloud model.
Right, and we're virtual, so our franchisees are not brick and mortar. There's no office. There's no CapEx that they have to have. It's truly virtual when they run and they own their territory. So what I always tell them is, I said, when you're not talking to customers and not doing Zooms, you're out meeting with realtor groups, mortgage agents, and insurance agents.
Yeah,
that's what we do.
It's incredible because so growing up, I worked construction, right? So I did rough carpentry. I've done finished carpentry. I did roofs. Like roofs not fun. Like when you say roofs, like I did roofs, like I was up on the roof, and I'm a big dude. So it was like, hey, we need those 4x8 sheets of plywood brought up. So I would, hike them on my shoulder and carry them up the ladder. Terrible work.
Yeah, a lot of respect for the guys who do that.
Oh,
it's just like, wow.
Yeah, and I always joke, it's like there's not enough Mountain Dew in the world to like keep me on that roof. But it is, and it's hard work. But again, you're taking out, you cut out the fat on a lot of it, and I think that's the biggest difference. That's the reason that Amazon is now putting Kmart out of business, right? They've cut out the fat, the overhead, all the things, and that's exactly what you've done, kind of with the Roof Resource.
Yeah, it's 10 years ago, if someone said to you, hey, you can go online at 7:00 tonight and order a product and it'll be at your door at 5. We all had wait a minute, how are you going to do that? How can you make money? You got to deliver it. You got to package it. And it's the same price at Target. No way. And here we are today. And it's the same thing that we tell homeowners now. You don't need to go out to Google and say, I'm looking for a roof, and you're going to have 30 people call you immediately. You're going to choose these people, and then you're going to probably spend about 3 weeks going through that whole process. We just say, just call a Roof Resource. We'll have your proposal ready in 24 hours. We'll do a Zoom within the day or two, whenever it's good for you. And we can have it installed within 7 to 10 days. Done. And you get to see where every dollar's going.
Yeah.
And there's no markup.
It's incredible.
So we've simplified it. And homeowners that want to still go through that process, we've had homeowners that still went through the process and then just said, well, I should have just went with you.
Yeah.
Because I say it's an education. If you want to go through an education, then call people out. But if you're looking at price and quality, and we don't really talk much about quality anymore, because we say, read the reviews. Our reviews are not, hey, I used the roof resource, they were good, you should use them. They write their stories.
Yeah.
I mean, there's novels in there. I'm just like, very humbled with, being able to serve these customers.
Yeah. Here's another question came in. Does the customer have to be more patient in getting their roof done, as the company getting the job from Roof Resource is likely a lower profit than the roofs they sold on their own at the porch?
No. So when someone, becomes a customer, within 24 to 48 hours, there's an attic inspection happening. And then the customer's choosing, we just had a customer choose Owens Corning Designer Summer Harvest on her home in Garden City. Okay. We'll have that installed next week. There's no waiting. There's no, hey, the quality, there's no quality issue from installation, because that's what's key here.
Yeah.
To then be able to deliver an at price experience for a homeowner. So it's as fast as they want to go. And the whole operations team, if they're listening, they're going to be like, please, Mike, don't say 7 to 10 days, because of weather,
Sure.
when it rains.
Yeah. There's always
delays.
there's always the thing.
But when there's no issues, like next week's going to be 50, 60 degrees. I think that we got like 18 or 20 projects already, that we're doing.
Right. Right. And so Dave Petroles, who's asking these questions, worked like 30 years in new construction.
Mm-hmm.
So he knows this, stuff.
Wonderful.
Like,
Yeah.
That's where these questions are coming from.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's, people think of, well, what about wood? How do you know if somebody needs wood? We include 3 boards in every single proposal with a homeowner. So that's included. But we always do say that, hey, and it's in the proposal, once they open up the roof, and if they see 1 board, 3 boards, 5 boards, 10 boards, whatever, we're taking pictures. The homeowner's immediately updated. And here's what's different. It's market price for the board. So Home Depot is, if it's $12, it's market price, $12 plus $30 to install it. Upfront, transparent. We take photos, because then it's like the homeowner can see, yes, I have 5 or 6 bad boards, and it's only cost. Whereas traditional retail roofing companies will say, we'll include 3 boards or 5 boards, but then it's $75 to $125 a board.
Right.
And that's not cost. Right.
Right.
And so homeowners, again, love that experience, because everything is upfront and clear and transparent on the front end, even to the point where it's like, how do you know if there's 2 layers of shingles or there's 3? We let them know that if you have a 25 square roof, and this is in the proposal is based on 1 layer. If there's 2 layers, it's only $10 a square. So if you have 25 squares, it's another $250. And then we explain why. Because if you got another layer installed, which many homeowners should know, that roof is no longer warranted, because you're just putting a Band-Aid on it. That there's no manufacturer will offer a warranty on that roof. You get another 200 plus nails in that square, along with the 250 to 320 nails. So now it's just a lot more laborious,
right,
to rip it out. And so, but we say it's $10, and they're like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
I mean, thank you. Like, I know if that's the case, it's only $250 more, and we're 50% less than retail, So, I mean, we always are rock bottom with our price points for customers.
Yeah, it's incredible. And the model is, it's so wild. And then again, you just got a text this morning about somebody wanting franchises in Pennsylvania.
Yeah, they want first right of refusal for the whole state of Pennsylvania and New Jersey.
Yeah, good text messages to get this morning. But so where did the franchise come from? Like, how did that come to fruition?
It was there was a gentleman. He was a COO of a tier 2 company that does offer automotive. I took care of his mother's home in Canton, and he loved the process. He was like, you saved me money. It was simple. I can handle it. He's like,
I can go online, click a few buttons.
He's done. He goes, everything was very transparent. He's like, I have a house, on the west side of the state. He goes, I'd like to buy the west side of the state. And again, his name eludes me, but I was like, no, I'm not prepared for that, and I'm not looking to do that right now. And then I got a phone call from a gentleman from iFranchise Group. And then I got another company called me from Miami, and another one from Texas. And that's what started the whole, well, maybe I could. And then understanding what I did in my corporate life is that I did sales training all over the country, and I created a program called C4, and I had to go into all these other markets and retrain salespeople. As you know how difficult that can be.
I do know how difficult that can be.
And everyone had to have this uniform sales training. And I knew that, hey, if I can make this uniform and systemized, can this be franchised? And that's when I then met with the top franchise company leaders. And they said, yes, in 3 years from franchising, you'll have disrupted the industry. And in 5, if someone hasn't adopted your model, they'll be out of business. And not that I'm looking to do that.
Right.
But it's just like, hey, you're bringing great change to an industry that needs disruption for 50 years.
Yeah. No, I love it. You got another question in. So in the event the attic shows some growth or possible mold, is there a way to have this company do the remediation and ventilation, and does it add to the price?
Yeah, great question. So existing customers, when they go in, and again, we have a third-party home inspection company do this. And the reason for that, third party is objective. They're not there to sell anything. And that's why we always tell homeowners that, hey, if you're concerned about your roof, call a home inspection company. They'll give you the detailed report, and they're not there to sell you anything, right? So we have that attic inspection, and we see biogrowth. And let's just say, matter of fact, there was a customer that I had in Taylor, biogrowth on the whole roof. So immediately we said, hey, you're going to have to redeck this. If you go through mold remediation, we can refer that out. That's a lot more expensive than $10 a board plus $40. And then so we'll do that square count, and let's just say it's $1,000 or 1,000 square feet. You divide that by 32, you know that you need 36 boards or whatever it might be. And then we provide them that price. To redeck your house, it's X. Or you can go through a mold remediation company. When you have intake ventilation, a very simple calculation, and some of these older homes, the gutters run right along it, and there's no intake ventilation, and the upstairs is hot, or the shingles are cooking, and we find out there's no intake, and we use deck air. And so deck air is about 18 to 24 inches up above the eave of where the gutter's at, and we install deck air. Now, here's what's beautiful with this as well. It's done at cost. And so deck air, when I was traditional roofing company, I could sell an 8-foot installed deck air for $500. Okay, that 8-foot is $140 installed with material. And so when homeowners see that, hey, we can now add, edge vent on north, south, east, west, and we make certain it's vented properly, that provides that. Because again, the home is going to get inspected by the local city inspector. And if it doesn't have proper intake ventilation and exhaust, it won't pass. Right. 100% of our jobs always pass.
Yeah. Incredible. And like you said, again, it goes back to, I'm just taking care of people at a very high level.
Yes.
Right. The rest will take care of itself. I'm just going to take care of extreme customer service, extreme 5-star reviews, right? That's nothing less than that.
Right. And, in the beginning, it's like, how do I market this? Get a roof at cost. There's no perspective of what cost is. And that wasn't good. And then it was, I'm going to treat you like family. Well, respectfully, a lot of companies say I'm going to treat you like family. A lot of companies
say that. Yeah.
And it's like, but I really am.
No, seriously.
No, really, I swear. So
trust me.
And that's where you just give it to the marketing team, Madeline Zook, who's just amazing. Audrey Israel's amazing, and they put all that together. And, just trusting in them, and but it comes down to the relationship. Because once somebody sees the price, there was I was on another radio show, and a gentleman had a quote from one of the, I would say, the big 6 here in this market, and heard me on the radio, called me, we did a quote. We were $13,765. He had a quote from this other company for $33,000 whatever. And I remember him calling me, he said, Mike, is this, okay, so you're telling me? And I'm like, yes. And he went through and we installed it, and fantastic. And, and for me, while we're making, I say we make hundreds and the homeowner saves thousands. We're making a little bit, but it's about doing 50,000 roofs, right? And what I get is, and this is something that moved me in June of 21, gentleman was putting on a new roof or looking for quotes. He had quotes from 12,000 to 25,000. He found the roof resource, and Scott, I had sent him the quote, it was $9,100. But he had decided that, before that, he was getting a home equity loan, and he pulled out 15 grand. But we did it for 9,100. And so during that time, it's, as you as a leader, it's inspect what we expect.
Exactly.
So I'm new company, wanted to go out, make sure the process was working well. And I go out and I meet with him. He's like, he put on a Owens Corning designer black sable baller looking roof, and he's just like, this process was great. Thank you so much. Because I was bringing pizza to the guys. And he goes, so he goes, Mike, so I took out a home equity loan. And so with the extra money, he's like, I bought that for my kids. Here's this huge pool and deck. And, sometimes I'll get a little emotional with that, but because I was like, I'm not only now fixing an industry that needs change, but look what homeowners can start to do with that extra money.
Yeah.
And then I had, I get phone calls from sales reps from Renewal by Anderson, and they're like, hey, we need some help here. We're trying to get these windows, but the gentleman said he needs to put on a new roof first. Well, they got a quote from some big companies. They're 36 and 33,000. We're like, okay, we're 18.4. So then he gets the new
now I get the windows,
and then he signs to get $60,000 in windows.
Right.
He is using money from that budget. And so for us, it's like, we don't feel that we're out there competing. We're just out there and saying, hey, here's our numbers and we can deliver on the experience. And so for realtors and mortgage agents, insurance agents, you can feel rest assured that, hey, when we give a number to someone, there's no fat in that.
Yeah.
But it's high quality material and high quality installation.
Yeah. No, and again, like Denise Mansfield is our mutual friend, right? Insurance, rock star insurance agent, right? If you need insurance, Denise is your girl. And I had her on the show. We talked about, we brought you up a little bit, and I'm like, so then I started looking into the roof resource, and I was like, what is this? You know what I mean? Like, it's wild. But man, like, again, it goes back to, and this is the thing, that the message that I want people to understand is, the roof, and you're going to save money, and it's a good product, and you're doing everything at a very high level, right? But like, to your point, you just saved that guy money that he bought his kids a pool.
Yeah. I've had a customer take her mom on because she was in the Detroit proper, $27,000. We did a roof for 12.4, something like that. And she's like, so I took my mom to Hawaii on the money that you saved. And I've had a gentleman that he owns 3 grocery stores down in Flat Rock area, and he had a big number quote from another company, and we saved him and he's one of the reviews. We saved him $13,000. He's like, Mike, now I'm going to buy the John Deere tractor that I wanted. I'm like, oh, that's awesome.
Right.
It's that feel good of just, hey, now I'm getting windows, I'm getting doors, I'm getting gutters. I'm getting something else. We're going on vacation, pay for the kids something. And for us, that's that other, for me was, and it goes back to that question, why franchising? It was, my general counsel said, hey, Mike, just open up and be the Amazon of roofs. Just get a big building and just take over the country. And I'm like, I want this to be for other people in markets and cities, and to grow faster, I can do it through franchising. And until we come to Columbus, Ohio, those homeowners are never going to be able to experience what homeowners up here have been able to experience. And so for me, it was the faster drive to be able to get into the markets to bring that change for homeowners.
Incredible. And that the idea that you got sparked with the franchise model is incredible, because a lot of people just don't think about that, right? Like, a lot of people are just like to your point, I just want to do this here to the best of my ability, and not. But the idea of this growth and everything that you're changing, and you're disrupting the industry.
Yeah, it's
which is a good and a bad thing.
Well, it's good, right? And it was like, the first guy up the hill gets the most arrows.
Right.
So I've received some bad messages, but at the end of the day, I get it, because people are like, hey, I'm putting food on the table, and I'm like, I understand that, and it's like, I'm not trying to make you change and be a roof resource, but there's something else that I live by, and I say, and it's this general statement, most people have heard it, but like, pigs get fat, hogs get slaughtered.
Yeah.
I do not want to be in that world I want to be able to serve. And that's just my model and what we do.
Yeah.
Everybody else can, obviously continue to do their thing. And, but we want to be at the table for the homeowner, and they have that price.
Yeah.
And know that, and to the realtors listening, to everyone else that's listening, to know that they can stand on that. And when you have Denise Mansfield, Farm Bureau, and now we're looking to have this big partnership with Farm Bureau Corporate, they know that they can stand on that price. We kind of say, hey, if they can stand on it for their customers, and it's $1 billion company, we know that the agents can feel comfortable and know that, hey, this is going to happen very well for my customer.
Yeah, 100%. You said something there that I want everybody to pull out too, though. You said, I want to do this to serve.
Yeah.
And again, that's where the magic happens. Like, that's, to me, and nobody wants to be sold anything. Nobody wants to be sold anything. None of us, like I always say, like, we've been out to the mall, and, the kiosks in the middle, and the people are spraying cologne on you. Like, just don't spray cologne on me. Like, I don't want your cologne, right? But don't sell me anything. I want that service. I want you to provide me the value of what I see. And then the funny thing is, what happens too is the more perceived the value that I have in something, the less worried I am about the cost of it. Right? Because the cost doesn't, people will pay more for things that they feel that make them feel good.
Right.
But what you're doing is you're making them feel good, and you're saving money. Right.
And what you had said was in the beginning was that it was, hey, there's something missing here, because it's like, hey, if I pay more, I'm going to get more.
Yeah.
And on this, I've had to say multiple times now, it's like, no, you're not. I can see that, hey, they're going to install an Owens Corning Designer Series full system roof at $44,000, and I'm looking at the proposal. We're 21 for the same exact thing.
Yeah.
So, and at that point, I'm not here to convince someone. It's then I obviously let them, we let them make their decision or whatever they want to do, but it's really empowering them. And to your point, it's serving them.
Yeah.
And as a homeowner, like, I want to be treated with full transparency. I don't mind someone making a couple bucks.
Yeah.
I don't want someone, I don't want to be paying for their vacation, twice over.
Right. Yeah. And again, it goes back to the value you're providing. Now, I want to dive in and go a little bit deeper into your Roof X.
Oh, the Roof X.
Yeah. The Roof X, because to me, as we were talking about that, I think that's a huge product for realtors, in a sense, to be able to pull that out and be like, here's this report on your roof, right? Just as an added bonus.
Right. Yeah. So the Roof X, I had put that together in 21 and just tabled it. I just said, hey, we're not ready to do that, because this is really for the partners. That's going to be a product where, like, Farm Bureau is looking at that as well right now.
Sure.
It's like, hey, the roof has been challenged. There may be a claim. How can we deliver something to the homeowner immediately? Because, in storms, there's the storm chasers, and the rates are just crazy for storm chasing. And we come in with Roof X. And so it's a product where it's consumer focused and consumer driven. Now, our price is in there because a normal proposal will have, our fee, everything is itemized. With Roof X, there's the price. It's the same thing, but it's just the price in there, right? But there's also, information for the homeowner on market value of their roof. There's the roof report that actually shows the schematic. It's like 3 pages that shows the photos of their home, the measurements of their home. So now they know that, and they don't have to meet with anyone. And so it's about, I want to say it's 10 or 12 pages, digital document that, the realtors can get access to and provide that to the homeowner. So if that's potential, and what I'm hearing too is that, homeowners are coming to the table and it's getting hung up.
Yeah.
Because now, as Denise probably said, that there's a much more aggressive stance on policies now. And, there's, a very large insurance company we're talking with now, and they're using aerial imagery of your roof. Now, they cover over 50 million homes. And if your roof has an unfavorable score, they're going to be sending you a notice and saying, you need to replace your roof, or we're going to cancel your policy. And there's this big shift because in the last 3 years, as you know, all these storms came through. Michigan was getting hail. We were getting hail. It's like,
Yeah.
oh my goodness. But this has happened all over the country to a point where the roof is, a homeowner's responsibility. It's just that we don't ever look at our roofs, right?
No.
It's just, hey, wait a minute, are my roofs failing? I'm
Right.
calling my insurance.
Right.
There's
water in the ceiling. What's going on?
And so there's all of this change. And so RoofVac steps in and serves, and really puts the realtor in a completely different position that, hey, if this becomes the challenge. Now, if the homeowner says, hey, just put on a brand new roof, they wouldn't need to order RoofVacs because there's a brand new roof.
Right.
We actually had a customer that purchased a home in September. They were told the roof was only 8 years old, and we had it inspected and it was 26 years old.
Oh,
it was really bad. And so there's a whole nother dynamic between inspections and selling home, and that's your guys' world, right? And I get it when they say, hey, it's end of life, no one wants to kill the deal, but this is where we step in and we can say, hey, guess what, that's not a $30,000 roof. That's a $12,000 roof, maybe 11. Right. And then what happens is you can put a brand new roof, and we've had this happen to homeowners. The one that I always remember is the one excuse me, in Grosse Pointe, and put on a new roof for 19 grand. They sold the house for 50 grand more.
Right.
Because the value of the roof is
Bingo.
Still the retail value.
Yes.
Right. So
yes, that's huge. Because that's one thing that we always talk about when we take clients through a house, right? It has a new roof. It has a new HVAC. It has a new hot water tank. Like, because to me, again, those are the things that you don't bring somebody in your house going, want to see my new water tank? Like nobody, you don't get to show that off. Right. Well, you have to have it.
Right.
Right. You have to have a furnace.
And you just said something really powerful, and that is, hey, the home has this, the home has that. The home, the roof is old, and consumers immediately think, hey, it's a 3,000 square foot home. Oh my God, that's 35 grand. I mean, their minds go to this number, right? How powerful is that for the agent to say, and by the way, I just want to let you know, the roof to replace it is only 14 grand.
Yeah.
It's only 14.
Yeah.
We already have the RoofVacs on it.
Yeah. And and my head's going right to like we used to do, like, it was popular a while ago where we would do a pre-listing inspection, right? If I was going to list your house, you get the inspection done pre-listing, and then we would have it out of the table for people coming through. Kind of went away when everybody was just buying houses. It didn't matter what the house looked like. People were still buying it. It didn't matter, right? We're kind of getting back out of that though, right? We're getting back out of where the market has slowed a little bit. People are being a little more picky and looking at it's kind of balancing out a little bit. But that's where my head goes with RoofVacs is like, if I could do this as a part of my listing presentation and bring this into you and say, here's what your potential roof would be, right? This is either the knock on your house, right? Or the bonus to your house, right?
Well, and that's where, we've seen it happen where when we've seen it where we put the price in and they took it to escrow, and the seller put so much money in escrow, and then we put on the new roof, and it gave the new homeowner the opportunity to choose the color and the style and what they wanted. Because again, it's all inclusive. And then we've seen it the other side where, hey, guess what? Put the new roof on, and then respectfully, you can get that retail price point, which that retail is 50% more. So when you're putting on the 14,000, so you're recouping your money plus another 15, 20 grand maybe.
Yeah. Because the assumption is it's a $40,000 roof.
Correct.
Right.
Exactly.
That's the assumption.
And so in the RoofVacs, we actually have market pricing. So in there, so that the homeowner can see, hey, this is market pricing for the month of the roof. And then there is a resale value based on the retail price. But then of course they see a price with us and it's half the price.
Sure.
So it's they get 100% of their money back plus,
right?
And as you know, it beautifies the home. When you're looking at, in some of these, again, the roof styles now, they are 40 and 50 years. We use full systems. We don't mess around with generic underlayments and generic components. And these are the top of the lines. And so homeowners get their choice. And when you put on a brand new roof, when people pull up, curb appeal.
Oh man,
it's a game changer.
Yeah. And again, it's a thing that we have to have, right?
Yeah.
But it's not like, hey, you want to come over and see my new roof?
I will tell you one of the things.
Like you bring my new car out, right? That's great. Look at your car. We want to see my new roof. Like
I was just sharing this with a customer the other day, because I still have people that call me all the time for roofs too.
Sure.
And I had a customer in Livonia I remember her, and they were asking me the styles of roofs, and this just so happened to be another Owens Corning Summer Harvest. So it's their designer series, and she called me up. It was like 7:45 in the morning, summertime. She was crying. I was just like, is everything? I was like, is everything okay? And she's like, I'm staring at my home right now, and it's so beautiful. And I thank you so much. And it was, it's those moments that you just don't. It's a roof, right? But there's our experience provides all these systems now, and so when I just say, hey, you just get to now choose to beautify your home. It's not choose brown, gray, black,
right?
Whatever small little colors. They get this palette of just all these wonderful colors, and that's the fun part of it.
Yeah. We just had another question come in. Is that how do we reach him with clients we have right now?
I can just email me directly. That's fine. Mike at theroofresource.com, and we can help. Yeah.
I'll put that in our text too, so I'll have that on the screen. But yeah, so Mike at theroofresource.com. And so you guys got
it's now everyone's, hey, you get to the mountain. I've been on Live in the D, and that's been amazing because I get up there and it's a short little 4 or 5 minute thing
for sure.
And next thing you know, the phones are ringing, emails are coming through, and so but yeah, like you said, it's all about service.
It's all about service.
We are here to serve. We're not here to try to make money, in the old traditional way, right?
Yeah.
And it's it's a game changer. And next year we'll do windows renewal by Anderson. Look out. We'll do their windows.
Who you just said they called you to get this deal done.
Well, so the reps were calling me, right? But we'll be able to do windows at the same model. We'll be able to do siding, same model. We're actually going to do gutter guards.
I was going to say gutter, same thing.
Gutters and gutter guards later this year. We're looking to bring on the gutter guards.
Okay.
So.
Okay. Yeah. Incredible, man. Because again, you've disrupted an industry, right? That needed it, right? That needed some little bump into it. Because like I said, I was joking, and I was going to bring this up out there, but I wanted to wait till we were here. But so my garage burnt down 20 years ago. Mm-hmm. So we had it all rebuilt, and there was a friend of mine that does construction that redid the garage and whatever else. But like the guy who used to do the roof on the garage, he was like, his name was Leak and Larry. Like that's who did Leak and Larry is who did the roof on my garage. Now it hasn't leaked, but I was like, is that a guy we should be using to put the roof on? His name is Leak and Larry. Like, is that the guy we want to use? And he's like, oh, Leak and Larry's great. I'm like, how did he get the name? Like I was concerned.
Maybe I just want to call him John.
Yeah, I was like, we just call him Larry. Or
Larry.
Right. Just call him Larry. We take the leaking part out. But no, that has changed because a lot of it is because we always do try to save money, right? Like we don't want to spend $40,000 on a roof. But if I can get Leak and Larry to come over and do it for 20, but now I have no guarantees. I don't know if I can find him in 2 weeks. Does he tear half of it off and not come back for 3 days? Like,
so I actually had an experience with a realtor. I won't say who and where they're from, but called me up and said, hey, I need a roof. Great. Send him the proposal. We're 9,100. We follow back up, and it's about a month later, and he's like, well, I was able to get it for 7,700. I'm like, okay, great. I said, do you mind if I ask you a couple of questions? He's like, yeah. And I said, so what's the name of the company? And he's like, well, right then and there.
Yeah, you knew it was like his cousin was doing it.
On the street, the guy says he's licensed, and he's going to do it with a couple other people. I said, okay. I said, what, do you know the shingle that he's going to be installing? No. I said, okay, so I said, at this point, you choose somebody else, and that's fine. I go, but let me now help you. Because when people just look at a number, they don't look at the type of shingle. They don't look at the system that's being installed. They don't know if this is all brand new being sent from the building supply yard to their home. Is it going to be used components that in the roofing industry, and this is something else too, Jim, to let you know, is that when we do an installation, all the leftover material goes back to SRS and our customer gets the refund. We're talking millions of dollars.
Yeah.
They get it. And so they'll actually say, oh my God, this is great, so on and so forth. And I got $653 back, $1,000 back. we're not over ordering. It's just, hey, we ordered correctly, and this was the stuff that wasn't needed.
Yeah.
You always order a little bit more. And so this realtor, I was letting him know that it wasn't a licensed person. He had no idea what shingle was. He was getting canned ventilation again. We were doing a ridge vent. There was no attic inspection. I said, you've got a small bungalow. You probably have, it's probably very hot upstairs. Are they going to be doing intake ventilation? Certainly look for that. And there were so many things that were missing there.
Yeah.
And so for me, when we come out and we meet with realtor groups and we talk, Ken is the guy who's doing that, or myself, and we talk about all those things, because those are things that are important. It's just not, okay, Dave does roofing for 5 years, I'm going to send you to Dave.
Right.
He's a good friend of mine. There's a lot more that's involved. And so that's that education part that we feel that we can bring to the realtor groups and teams so that they can feel confident. Because I think it comes down to, I'm confident of the roof resource.
Yes.
Like your price, your quality, your installation, and every customer is handled the same exact way. No customer is going to be like, oh, no, they didn't do that for me, or I didn't get that. So,
right. And I think it's incredible too, because you bring this, it is important to us, and as it is important to you, right? Because if I'm giving my client something, that's my name that's on it, right? It says roof resource, but because I gave it to them, right, it's coming from me.
Right. Right.
So I have to make sure that the roof resource actually is a real, tangible works thing, right? And I always caution real estate agents when they do partnerships and whatever else, if you're sending an electrician out, has that electrician done work on your house, right? Or have you seen their work done? Or a plumber, have you seen, what are their reviews like? Right. Because then now I can entrust in partnering with them to send them out on my behalf.
Right.
Because it's your name that's attached to it. Right. Just like you said, when you're looking at people that are trying to become franchisees of the roof resource, you vet them. It's not like, sure, give me the money and you're in.
Exactly.
Right.
Right. And that is so important. And so just like I go back to Denise Mansfield, who, we met up in October of 21, and she enlightened me to the insurance industry. And again, my product wasn't being built for that, but there's such a huge significant savings to the real estate or to the insurance agencies about saving millions of dollars on loss ratios. But Denise is able to confidently put her name behind what we do and how we do it, and knows that we can deliver that experience every time to her customers. And so her staff of 5 or 6 ladies there, and when people call in and they say, hey, I'm looking to get a roof, it's the roof resource.
Yeah.
And she's like, never before has she felt comfortable to do that kind of thing.
Right.
And so, and now we're talking with, like I said, their corporate team. And so it's to do this for all 420 of their offices.
Yeah, that's incredible. I think we answered this question earlier, but I'll get it to you too. It says, if you don't know that there's already 2 roofs, can the price change if discovered? And I know we hit on that.
Yes.
But.
And so this is a great thing up front from a transparency process. When we talk about this in their proposal, we say this is based on 1 layer. And if we find the day that we come out and the roofing company immediately updates the customer and updates operations and says, hey, there's 2 layers. In the proposal, it tells the customer you're at 21 squares or you're 37 squares. We let them know it's $10 additional per square. So if it's 37 squares, $10 more, it's $370. That's added to the end of the labor, to the end of the installation.
Yeah. Incredible. Yeah. And I think we touched on that, but it's nothing clarifies like clarity.
Yes.
Right.
I would say clarity is inspiring.
It is actually, it is actually. And I love clarity. But no, I think that as we're rolling up here, it's 8:29, man, the hour. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Hour goes by fast, man. We'll get one more question in here. It says, on the odd chance, if you run into a client not computer savvy or even has a computer, how do you handle it?
So we've handled that with their family members, that their nephew comes over. We've had elderly people that they're not on the internet, they're not on their Zoom stuff, and they've had family members take care of it for them.
Yeah, love it.
We've even emailed the proposal to them.
Love it.
Or mailed it, excuse me.
Mailed it. Yeah. Mailed it.
With a stamp.
Horse and buggy. Yeah.
Horse and buggy.
So, well, Mike at the Roof Resource, I put that on there.
Okay.
So everybody can find email you. So you're probably going to get some emails today, I would assume. But no, I appreciate you coming on. We're going to have you come back for sure.
Yeah, please.
Yeah, for sure. Because an hour goes by quick, my man. Well, guys, I appreciate it. Thanks for joining me on the Elite Real Estate Podcast this morning on KGCI Radio and on Twitch and Twitter and everywhere else we were at. I appreciate it. Guys, take it easy. We will see you next week.